What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Sunday, January 5th, almost in December, 2025. This is the first official show of the new year on the Kickash Podcast. So, welcome. Happy New Year to everyone. I appreciate you popping in if you are popping in live. If you are watching on the good old replay and watching in the future, welcome and thank you for joining and popping in. I appreciate that as well. If you haven't, as they all say, feel free to go ahead and subscribe and like and all that good stuff. Not really wanting to push that too much because, you do what you want to do out there, but it does help, and it's fun to build a little wrestling community here. And I definitely appreciate people just popping in and out or just dropping a comment or whatever. So thank you for doing so. Tonight it's not going to be too long of a show because I do have some other things I have to get to outside of this, but I absolutely wanted to pop on here and talk some wrestling. It was a big week really, and it's going to be a fun show tomorrow night, of course, with the big Raw debut on Netflix, which I can't believe I didn't even think to put that in the title. And honestly, I don't know if I'm gonna get too much into it. We'll definitely chat about it. But like I said, I don't have too much time here tonight. And I definitely wanted to dedicate some time to Wrestle Dynasty and to talk about the New Japan show. It was my first time. Don't cancel me, guys. But it was my first time actually watching the show live. I did fall asleep, so I had to catch up later on today. But just watching like an actual, it wasn't Wrestle Kingdom, obviously Wrestle Dynasty, but just watching a live-ish show in the Tokyo Dome for me, which is really cool. So I wanted to talk about that and just kind of go over like my thoughts, my perspective, and just some questions that I had, and then some, I don't want to say big takeaways, but just some pretty noticeable takeaways in comparison between like AEW and New Japan and stuff like that. And I think I see a little bit more now, or it makes sense more why uh some fans had said that AEW like stole New Japan style and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna get that, like I'm not gonna say they stole or ripped them off or anything like that, but you can definitely see some not some comparison, but some similarities rather. So chat about that too. But I just wanted to get going here. What up? Open the chat. What up? What up, Bryster? I saw you in the chat. What's up, man? What's up, Maria? What is up, Ron? Fernando? What's up, guys? What is up? Bryce, you said, we'll throw it up here. It was my first time watching New Japan. I fell asleep too. To me, it wasn't because it was like a boring show or anything. It's just literally like it was a long day. I had work. Literally, like when I left my part time, the show started, so I had to, stay awake and do the best that I could. But it was really good. I'm not gonna. I guess we'll just start right with Wrestle Dynasty. Um, I it was definitely it's definitely different, right? And that's a good thing in my opinion. I really dig the style. I dig the storytelling, ironically enough, right? And it's not a shot, but I dig the story presentation and how the commentators catch you up on and lay the backstory and the foundation and how we got here for the matches. And it's not even really, it is their job, right? But it wasn't even, I wasn't even expecting it. I guess I'll put it that way. It wasn't something that I was going into really. Of course, I wanted to, but I figured I'd have to kind of just go in a little bit blind and just kind of put together, like the reaction from the fans and just the presentation that the wrestlers do themselves, like who the good guy and bad guy is, and just kind of go from there. And obviously, this is more of like an exhibition style card put together because it's not the Forbidden Door, but it's the same concept, right? So it's pretty much just like kind of matching up, the stars from each AEW and of course New Japan. And then we had some CML representation on there as well throughout the weekend, and Stardom, of course. So yeah, just matching up, wrestlers from each company, of course. But I was really impressed with the story and the foundation, like I said, that the commentators gave. So I have some notes pulled up here. Let me move myself really quick. But apparently on commentary was two gentlemen by the name of Walker Stewart and Chris Charlton. So, and I think it was Chris Charlton who I saw on Twitter. Hold on, shout out Canada Dry. uh, guys know me, you know I love some ginge. Um, but I think it was, and I'm not gonna say one or the other, but I'm thinking maybe it was Chris Carlton who was the one who gave us a lot of the story. And like, for instance, the one that really stood out to me was Kenny Omega. And just during his entrance alone, I learned so much about Kenny Omega during his entrance and during the first few minutes of the match than I had in his entire run in AEW, and who Kenny Omega was and what he meant to the wrestling business, right? And of course, like, since 2019, I've learned more and more of Omega's importance, right, to the industry and things like that, and just his history, but in New Japan. But it was just so well told in like maybe a minute. They explained how he really grew and developed himself in Japan and became a star, right? His matches with Okada. So they kind of gave like a brief overview of that, just without, and it was so well told, right? With how they went into detail without getting too specific. As weird as that may sound, but the way that they explain Kenny Omega's importance, and one of them, I'm not sure if it was Chris or Walker, had said that essentially like Kenny Omega was New Japan wrestling, and he is Japanese wrestling. And I mean, I wish I knew who. Again, this is just, and I guess, to be clear in my little disclaimer here, like I've said, like I said at the beginning of the show, and like I've said in the past, I have not. I'm not even gonna pretend to be like and I can't pretend to be. Um, I'm not an avid New Japan watcher or anything like that. I just didn't really know much of like how to access it, and I really didn't put forth much effort, to be completely honest. I just figured I would hear, like, if it was big enough, I'd hear about it or I'd see it, and then I'd seek out like certain matches and stuff like that. But as far as like a whole pay-per-view or anything like that, especially live, I never like sat down. I did not too long ago get a couple of DVDs. One was like the best in New Japan, and the other one was, I have them not too far away. It's pretty much like it was the history of New Japan, and it was up until I think the year 2019, or so, pretty much like a brief history, like overview of the story of the company, right? And big matches and things like that. So I have gotten those just to kind of catch up, and catch up in the sense that I feel like I missed the train on New Japan, especially in this like height of popularity, right? Which I'm not too concerned about that. If anything, I like that people are saying it's in a down period right now, because it gives me a little bit of chance to catch up and to really like learn who some of the new stars are going to be and the faces going forwad that they of the company that they want to possibly establish. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to paying more attention to New Japan, and for that matter, TNA. I'm definitely more familiar with TNA, but NXT coverage wise for 2025, and just for my personal knowledge, that's, I guess, one of my, I don't want to say resolutions or anything like that, but one of the things like wrestling wise, I want to learn more about. So yeah, and again, I say all that to say, don't come to me looking for in-depth analysis on this like pay-per-view or anything like that, or the characters or anything. It's actually my perspective coming in from more of a casual fan of the New Japan product. So that's why I was so excited for this. So just get all that out there. And I'm excited to learn too. I'm excited to learn, like, if you guys have been like diehard New Japan fans, or if you know something that I failed to mention or whatever, definitely let me know, and definitely throw it out there. Because I'm excited to learn. So just throwing all that out there. But what up, baby? What up, friend? I appreciate you popping in. Um, Maria, you said I've been watching New Japan since the creation of Original Bullet Club with Finn Balor as the leader. Okay, yeah, so I should probably pick your brain. And the Club is what got me, is what really like got my attention. Oh God, what year was that? Was that, it was 2018? Yeah, 2018. 2017, 2018, around that time frame is when, and of course the match with Omega and Okada. I heard about that, but to be honest, like, I wasn't too like pressed to seek it out. Like, I heard it was a great match, but I was like, okay, cool. Like, as the years have gone on, well, maybe not in that time frame, because that was what, 2016. Wrestling quality wasn't as prominent as it is now. Look at AKA WWE, right? At that, especially in that time frame, within the next, I would say 2016 2019 was not there. 2020 probably is a little bit more generous, but was not WWE's hot period for their in-ring product. We'll say that. You definitely had your standout matches and stuff like that, but that's what they were, standout, because all the rest were shitty or just not just no good stories, you know? And that's why, like, it kind of makes me laugh too when people are like, oh, like, y'all are so hard, like, people are so hard on AEW for no stories and stuff. And it's like, if you're a longtime fan, like, then you've probably said worse shit about WWE than you could even think about saying about AEW right now, you know? So that just always kind of tickles me. But yeah, so just kind of, I really want to go back. I want to watch the one of the kickoff matches that they had, the one with Willow Nightingale, Athena was in it, Momo Watanabe, and Persephone. I hope I said that right. But I heard that was a really good match, and you guys know I love me some Willow, so I need to go back and watch that one. Fernando, you say Tanahashi was a big deal in New Japan before Kenny Omega came along. Yeah. And oh my god, what was his name? This Another guy I was really impressed with. Let me go through. It was the match against Jack Perry. Oh, what was his name? I'm going through the card here. Great Okan. Great Okan has such a cool entrance. Oh, Yodo Suji. Yodo Suji, that dude, they were comparing him, I think, to Shinsuke on commentary. That dude he feels like a star, man. Like, he feels like he's gonna be a big deal for them. Like, when I first, like, his entrance was really cool. Let's start off with that. Like, his entrance was really dope. And just like his whole package, like his presentation, how and that was and that's why, I mean, with this one I kind of felt like it was a little bit more obvious, like Jack Perry was the bad guy, right? But I don't know in like the New Japan landscape if Yoda Suji's a good guy or bad guy or whatever. But man, like, if he's not a face or whatever, then he probably will be very soon, because he just feels like a star. He just feels like a big deal, or someone that can be a big deal very soon. And I think the comparison to Shinsuke is very spot on. Um, and again, this is just from me seeing the Shinsuke. I went back and watched some of the Shinsuke matches prior to him coming into WWE. So just a little bit of knowledge of Shinsuke from New Japan. Don't kill me, guys. And then of course with his work in WWE, but just the vibes too, and just the way that he's kind of mysterious, but he still embraces the fans, and like gets the fans involved in the match too, was what really stood out to me. Um, and just his moves, man, and just his transitions are just so smooth. Like, I was just really, like, I hate to say impressed, but just really, like, just taken aback by that match. So yeah, like, I signed up for the New Japan World membership, so I'm very much looking forward to kind of diving into their catalog, going back and watching more matches of his. And yeah, and if you guys, if you guys in the chat, or again watching in the future, if you have any recommendations too, like matches that I should go back and look at from the past, like, even if it's one that, like the Kenny Omega and Okada one, like, even if it's one that's super obvious, let me know, throw it out there, and shoot it over to me, because even if I have seen it, I'm the person, I love going back and rewatching old matches and just pay-per-views and stuff. But definitely let me know, definitely throw it out there, and let me know, because I want to learn, and I want to just, I don't know, just get more involved in their product. I love the presentation. I love the Tokyo Dome too. And if any of you guys know, in the chat, let me know. But they were saying that there was only like 14,000 tickets sold, and apparently it holds like 40,000. And someone had taken a picture. I hate when people do this, but someone had taken a picture, and like there was like a lot of like open spacing on the floor, which I obviously did notice, right? But I feel like I've seen that type of layout in the past, and again, like, I just don't know if that's like a common layout, or if there really were a lack of fans there. Just because some people were blaming that on AEW, which is kind of crazy to me. I do get where the AEW probably hasn't helped, right? Taking some of the biggest stars that they, not some of the biggest stars that they had, right? Okada, Ospreay, Jay White, just to name a handful, not even a small handful. So I'm sure that didn't help, right? But you can't, as a company, you can't blame. You have to be strong, like, you have to be ready for anything. You have to be able to pick up the pieces and have the foundation, be able to just like plug and play almost, you know what I mean? Like certain stars are just irreplaceable, right? Which is understandable, but um I say that to say, like, is that really like the perception that New Japan is down? Because if so, like that's a bummer. But again, like I'm gonna kind of be selfish and take advantage of it because it'll give me a chance to learn and kind of jump on the bandwagon right here because it was a good vibe and the Tokyo Dome itself, like I love the dome aspect first of all. I just love when sports have a dome, but just the setup and like all of the screens and everything, it was simple but effective and a beautiful layout. Like I love the positioning and like the different how like it's in like a rectangle type shape or not even type but a rectangle shape that they're LED boards and screens. But they're like intertwined and like interstacked. So it's really cool. I don't know. I had seen that in the past, but just watching it live just kind of hits different too. So and again with this Wrestle Dynasty chat, like I said, it's not going to be a straight rundown or anything. It's just kind of my thoughts all over the board. So I want to kind of hit a few different things here tonight besides Wrestle Dynasty. But I will say I was surprised that the Young Bucks won the titles, the tag team titles. But I will say too, I love this commentary team. I love how they and Rocky Romero at this point was on commentary for the Young Bucks. I will say I love how the commentary team like called out the Young Bucks, you know, saying like they haven't been on TV. Like at first there's like a couple jabs to them not being on TV. And especially since they lost the AEW tag titles to Private Party, they've been MIA. But I liked how they you could tell there was like a few little like quirks, but then they tied it into storyline and the EVPs and the money getting to their head, and especially when they ended up winning the tag titles, how now I'm sure they're going to be happy, you know, like getting paid by two different companies and all that, you know, that type of vibe and that type of direction. But I really, I was really surprised that the Bucks won. And again, maybe I shouldn't be because let me get back to my notes here because I actually wrote down a couple notes here. Um, and I already mentioned, but the Great O'Con's entrance, I love the smoke coming from his mouth, bro. It just, I don't know why, but that was just so cool to me. And Jeff Cobb, man, Jeff Cobb in the presentation, I'll say in New Japan as a whole of their big men, I love it. Like Jeff Cobb, like it the presentation of Cobb, it really made you feel like, man, like are they going to be able to suplex this guy? Like he really felt like a presence, you know. So I really like the presentation of that, uh, or in that regard rather. But Naito is I love talking about entrances, right? Like I love his. But Hiromu Takahashi, I am a new fan of because I loved his his rest oh my god, why can't I talk? His walkout gear. And it was just obnoxious. And I loved everything about it. I loved the skulls on it, the weird eyes, like just everything. If you haven't seen it, let me see if I can pull it up. Dynasty. Get it put up here. Takahashi. Um, and when he was coming out, I was like, "Yo, like what? Like what am I supposed to make of this guy? Like, what is he? Like, what is he on? and where do I get it? But just kidding for YouTube algorithm, maybe not really, but yeah. God, right? Where is his? They don't have any pictures of his walk. Like it was just like the most absurd monstrosity that you can ever imagine. Hold on, I gotta show this because I just loved it. And again, when I saw this dude, I was like, "Who the hell is he?" And how come I have not seen him before? Wow, they really don't have any pictures of his freaking gear, man. I am blown away by that. Oh, the Google machine has failed me. The Google machine has failed me. But That's so strange. But yeah, if you guys got to check it out because it was just something else. But I'm just kind of taken aback by that, guys. I'm sorry. Like I know it's not even, especially if you've seen it and you're like, okay, whatever. But all right, whatever. It is what it is. I'm gonna see if maybe I can pull it up on my phone. But I love that dude. He's tremendous. And he's such a good storyteller. Like, and the way he sells is just talk about selling and being oppressed. Get to Gabe Kid here in a second. But man, like I just really, I'm gonna turn my volume down so I don't get any flagged. But I just had the New Japan app pulled up, and again, well, not again, but another observation for the New Japan product. Shout out to New Japan World and their app because it's pretty user friendly. I love the when you pull up the pay per view itself, they have pretty much like it's numbered, but well you can't see yeah but it starts obviously with the beginning, you know, which was the Lucha Gauntlet, but it's like labeled for a second, and you could go through and click on it and it takes you right to the match. And then I was thinking, okay, it's gonna end, or you have to go back and like each chapter you have to go back every click, but no, it just continues to flow. Beautiful. Like I'm just so impressed. And again, bear with me, guys, because all you like diehard New Japan like Maria and people who've been around the block with New Japan once or twice, you guys are probably like, yeah, no shit. Like we've been here, done that. But again, it's just my perspective being a newer viewer of the product. Um, but here we go. Um, and here we go. The beginning, Great O'Con. Oh, he was so cool, man. Look at this. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. Can't really see it. Oh, that's a bummer. But all that for nothing. But you guys gotta check it out. You gotta check it. It's just like this creepy looking like monster looking type shit, which I love. Because I'm kind of weird. But I think that going back to the tag team match, again, pipe in and let me pull up the chat back up. But if you guys are not surprised that the Young Bucks won the tag titles, does this mean that they're going to be more in New Japan? That's just kind of wild to me because their thing lately had been like they don't really want to travel like across the U.S. as much, or at least that was what we had heard. But now they want to go back and travel to Japan, which is not around the block. You know what I mean? Talking about blocks, but I don't know. Like it was just a very strange call to me. Uh, uh, um. All right, Maria, you said love Kenny Omega, but the Great Muda, Jushin Thunder. Oh, Jushin Thunder Liger. Yeah, I need to. Thank you. I need to write that down. Jushin Thunder Liger, bro. Yes, thank you so much, Maria, for mentioning Jushin because just talk about. I don't want to say underrated, but an underappreciated talent. And I want to go back and watch more of his matches. So making notes. Oh, this pin is orange. Oh, didn't know that. Jushin Thunder. And Tanahashi, yeah. Got Tanahashi for sure. For sure, yeah. So honestly, like what really got Omega over besides the Okada match? But like was it like his did he have like good showings in like the G1s? Like are there certain like G1 match or G1 tournaments that I should go back and watch in particular? I love, and again, like with the app, they have everything broken down too. So I'm gonna definitely check out some of the G1s. But yeah, like I wasn't so prior to like Omega coming into to New Japan, and this is why like I was just really looking forward to him going into AEW because I wanted to learn about him. But did Omega like obviously he's from Canada and he hadn't really been in the US. So what really brought him up to that level is what I want to learn. But yeah, I thank you, Maria. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I have a lot to learn. I have a lot to learn. Yeah, okay, and Fernando, you said as well, Tanahashi was a big deal in New Japan before Kenny. Yep, I figured that one. What up, Plaza Beat Selector? What up? Dope name and picture there. Yoda as a face. Okay. Oh, and he has a lot of potential. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, a lot of potential for sure, for sure. E, what's up, E? I see you in the chat, man. I see you in the chat. Umaga. What the world? Umaga Vince Shane versus RVD 3. What? I don't know about any of that. Oh man. Oh, thanks, Fernando. Yes, the layout is courtesy of Sai T, friend of the show, who's in the chat normally. Or not normally, but a lot of the time. It's probably late for them over there, but yes. And I realized I never posted it on Twitter, so I'm gonna throw a link up there really quick. But yeah, he made it for me. He's dope. He did a great job. So thank you for that, and shout out Sai. Bryce, there you said I love dome stadiums and wrestling. Yeah, dude, it just hits different, man. It hits different. The Tokyo Pimps. What's up, action figure addict 112? That's dope. I love action figures too. I was actually speaking of action figures. I had pre-ordered a CM Punk one, and they sent me an email. Mattel did. That's delayed, so I gotta update that. Your name reminded me. Takahashi was a member of Bullet Club. He was a part of the Tokyo Pimps. Tokyo Pimps. I gotta check that out. If you guys are giving me shit too, I will come back. But no, Tokyo. Like if I'm looking up some shit that's gonna spam my computer. Just kidding. Tokyo Pimps. All right. All right, Fernando, you said I was kind of surprised the Young Bucks won at this stage. Okay, cool. So I wasn't alone there. Action figure, you said, I believe someone was speculating the David vs. Brody match is setting up a House of Black versus Bullet Club. Wow. Yo, and talk about, like, I want to say, like, who really showed up and showed out was Brody King, man. Brody fucking King. Let's go. Like, I loved talk about entrances too, like the all camo look and the mask and everything, like the full face mask besides the eyes. Like, bro, I loved it. He just looked like a badass, man. Maria, he said old school Liger versus Brian Pillman back in the day are incredible matches. Yo, Brian Pillman, let's go. All right. Liger, let's go. All right, and you said to me, Bullet Club recruiting him is what put eyes on him. Him being Omega, okay, and that's probably how like the cleaner thing got started too. Like, because I know obviously that was one of the big versions of his shirt was the cleaner. Okay, when he entered their junior division, yeah, and I really speaking of the junior division, I really like the junior division too. I it to me like, and again, just how they make it that sports feel and speaking of sports feel, and the Omega and Gabe Kidd match, which was fucking fantastic. I love the little things that they do, like when Omega was down and he was like clutching his hip, that they brought him an ice pack. You know, like he had one of those ice packs, those blue ones. You know, so he was icing his hip, and the commentary team was talking about it. You know, like I love that. And speaking on that match really quick, because I'm gonna, like I said, kind of be all over the place with this. But I really, their tables are when Gabe Kidd went over, and before hold on, let me give respect right too, because fucking Gabe Kidd, bro, amazing. And his story, like apparently he had contemplated what's the word they use on YouTube? Unaliving himself back in the pandemic era, and was just really going through like this dark time and was like debating on like quitting wrestling and all this stuff, and just really was like just down and just in like a dark place, and he stuck with it, and he just got out of that darkness, and or if he's not completely out, like he's in a much better place, I'm hoping, and it seems to be now. um just I guess then we'll get back to the little non as important parts of the match, but to kind of hear just a little bit of that story and to see the emotion in him and his excitement when he and during his entrance, and I loved it, like the fire, man. Like it got me hooked. I was like, yo, like I love this guy already. And even if I'm not supposed to, like I dig this guy. So kind of learning about that story, and then fast forwarding a lot to the end of the match when you saw Tanahashi on commentary and he was crying, like, bro, like it was in, and of course Gabe Kidd took the L, but yo, like, did he really lose though? I mean, technically in the record books, yeah, but this guy, in my opinion, like he was elevated too, man. Like if he wasn't already, like this guy, Zack Sabre better watch out. And again, I don't know the hierarchy. Yeah, obviously I know who the heavyweight champ is, but man, like Gabe Kidd is something special. Something special. And I love that his journey is to stay in Japan, and the story was how Omega left Japan and all this stuff. And I love that they had a story and it wasn't even, they're not even in the same company, right? And it's not something that's going to continue necessarily weekly or even be addressed soon after Dynasty, and that's why I was just so impressed by the backstory, the story that they gave us during the show, and then what could potentially set up for future rematches or revisits. So I was just really impressed. It's not obvious, but yeah, man, Tanahashi, the emotion in his face, like I wasn't expecting. um, I don't know if that's kind of normal for Tanahashi, but I loved it. But speaking of him, well, I'm not gonna jump that much over. Let me get back to the table portion. But the seriousness, I really dug that. And I love that they gave him over 30 minutes too. I think it was so well done. And I like that they have like at least like we don't really know, or like I guess I don't really know why. I guess it was like a no DQ. But I guess it was like an exhibition match or a grudge match type thing, and I know that they took away the time limit. They mentioned that a couple times. The commentary team did, which I appreciated. But and I think they'd even referenced that that they were just announcing the time, just kind of like a check in, and I love that. I love that, and but I also another comparison really quick. Not even trying to be that person, but it really like the differences between like referees and companies too. Like I loved how the New Japan referees were just kind of like not as much involved. I have heard like some like what is the big deal about the Red Shoes ref? What's like his story? Does he normally get involved or something? I don't know. Like I remember like maybe a year or so ago, or maybe probably no longer than that. Something about him. So if you guys know, let me know. What his story is, the Red Shoes ref guy. But overall, like to me, like they weren't like yelling and screaming in your face, whereas during the Omega match, it was Bryce Rose. We're gonna hate, not to name names, to call him out in a negative route, but like he was yelling at Gabe Kidd, like, if you want to win the match, you gotta get in the ring. And it's like, yeah, dude, he knows. Like, relax, bro. Like, relax. Like, the time limit's already gone. Like, clearly it's a no DQ match, so like relax. Like, why are we yelling at him? Like, I don't know. Like, to me, it was just kind of extra. Like, why are we so involved? Like, to me, and I noticed this the other night. And I meant to mention this in the Saturday show that I did at Brass Ring Media, who are now partners with One True Sport. Shout out to that. But my favorite referee probably right now is, oh God, as I say, my favorite referee, and I almost blank on her name. Is it Jessica Smith? Is that her name? The blonde, and I hate to like say it, but she's the blonde referee, and I follow her too. Lord. Let me see if I can find her really quick because I want to give her flowers while I can, because she is just so good at her job, in my opinion. Jessica, is it not Jessica? What the hell is? I'm just blanking on everything tonight. Ref. Oh, maybe you guys will know. If you guys know, she's the referee. Jessica Carr. Stamps. What up, Stamps? Thank you for popping in the chat. Is Jessica Carr, is that her name? Am I just kind of conflating some shit? Jessica Carr. It's gonna drive me nuts. I'm just that person. Yes, Jessica Carr. Yes. Thank you, Stamps. And what up, bro? Thank you for popping in. Jessica Carr, she is great because she's there, but she's not there. And I love her. I end up watching her just because I love, or like paying more attention to her because I love like the business part of wrestling. Like I love like trying to like look at like the different things, like even I even find myself trying to watch like what the cameramen do and like their positioning and just weird stuff like that. But I love her because she reacts, but she's not so dramatic, and she's not like making it about her or anything like that. Like she's not like, oh, like she'll be like, oh, but like it's not like, I don't know, it's just like a normal reaction. I don't know. Everyone has their own reactions and stuff, but I really like Jessica, and she enforces the rules, right? But to me, it's not like a like in your face type thing. So just some love for Jessica, really quick. But just going through the chat really quick. Didn't watch. Oh gosh, you said you didn't watch Wrestle Kingdom, so okay, yeah. And I want to go back and watch Wrestle Kingdom as well. I just caught Wrestle Dynasty, but John Smith, what up, John? You say watching Kenny's media scrum appearance really shows what a great showman he is. Seizes on the booing and cuts a meme promo. Okay, just his media scrums as a whole, or was it one in reference that he did for this show? But speaking of their media scrums, I love their presentation of that too. That kind of UFC fight feel. Um, but yeah, Gabe Kidd is the MVP of the War Dogs. Got you. Yeah, he's the MVP probably. Period. My book. Yeah, John, I'm never 100% on AEW rules. They seem very flexible. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Maria, you said my favorite ref is Aubrey from AEW. Okay, okay. I okay. I don't know, man. I don't know because I like Aubrey and I respect her a lot, but sometimes I feel like she's too involved in the matches too. Unless that's maybe the point, but that's just my opinion. I think she does more when she's doing less because she does give that authority figure vibe, but I think that's just my opinion. But she's cool, and I like how like dynamic she is. I like how open she is about stuff. And I like her. She seems like a really cool chick too. So that's just my opinion. But yeah. But what up, Billy? You say hello, Ash from NC, North Carolina. First time looking in. I appreciate you, man. What up, Billy? What up? What up? I used to live in Virginia, so a little neighbor of yours. Baby, you say, fun fact, Brian Pillman and Jushin Liger was the first match of the very first episode of Monday Nitro. Shut up, dude. I'm gonna look that one up too. Shut up. Shout out Eric Bischoff. I'm sure that's not what y'all were going for. Specifically the one he did after the game oh, okay, John, thank you. Specifically the one he did after the game match. So that's following up to Omega's media scrum. Okay, cool. One last thing on Omega. You can just tell he loves New Japan, and that's his home, man. Like that's where his heart is. And I almost felt sad, like seeing how much he loves and I know he loves AEW, but how much he loves New Japan, and just the fact that just the effort that he put into the entrance and everything, like making a new video package and like a new music, like, well, not new music, but a new compilation. But you can just tell, man, and it just like exudes from him. So, and that's just coming from someone who's just, again, watch it from like at the very top of the hill when it comes to New Japan, but you can really tell that he probably wants to go back. um, you say, and Billy, again, you say, who do you like, WWE or AEW? I like both, my friend. I like wrestling in general. Rewind. What up, Rewind? What up? You say ECW referee John Finnegan, great referee, super underrated. Yeah, John Finnegan. That name is familiar. I can't place specifically, but that name is familiar. John, you say I personally only have time for one wrestling show per week, so I watched the one my friend watched. It's a great way to stay in touch. Which show was that? Which one do you watch? What's your thoughts on AJ Smith? AJ Smith. Who's AJ Smith? I'm not sure who AJ Smith is. Any Raw Night 1 on Netflix predictions? I think we're going to open with John Cena. I think the show's going to start hot with Cena, and then I think he's going to go out there and probably get a few minutes out, and then he's probably going to be interrupted by The Rock to keep the hotness going. Rock's gonna come out. They're gonna do a standoff. Probably not set up a match or anything like that, but they're gonna do a standoff. Then that can transition into the tribal combat match, whether they end up having it then or not. It can transition into something tribal related, or you can just end the segment with that. But I would imagine too, for at least the first hour or so, they're gonna have limited ads or interruptions or anything. So they can eat up a good 30, 40 minutes with just Cena, The Rock, probably not 40 minutes, depending on how many people they bring out. But it could be Cena, The Rock, and then if you want to transition into the tribal combat match, if that's gonna go on first, and then you maybe main event with Cena, or I'm sorry, Punk and Rollins. You can do that. You can have Roman Reigns music hits, because you know that dude takes 15 minutes to come out himself. So you can do that, and then you can have like a three-way standoff, because can you imagine one ring having Roman Reigns, John Cena, and The Rock just staring at each other like, what the fuck? Again, doesn't have to lead to a triple threat match or anything insane like that. But just saying, um, just saying. And then you can obviously have the Roman standing there, and then that would lead to Solo coming out, and then you could get into the match. But yeah, I think that's just kind of like spitballing something crazy, but I definitely think a little bit more closer to reality. You could definitely open with Cena. I think you just have to start with Cena. I think Cena's music just brings the energy. Of course, people are already going to be excited to see him. Times 15. They're going to be in Los Angeles. The show is what it is, right? It's the biggest Raw, if not the biggest Raw, top 5, right? That they're probably ever going to do. So you're going to want to start off strong. And I think, why not do a back to back to back, like a triple whammy? You can have your three biggest players coming out there and not interrupting each other, but just transitioning over. So I think that'd be really fun. But if nothing else, I think you start off with Cena coming out, getting everyone hyped, and I hope my girl Vanessa's there. That'd be dope, because I love her fandom, bro. She's gotta protect her at all costs. She's the goat. But I just thought about her because she was ringside and she was pledging allegiance to Chelsea Green. So shout out to Vanessa Hudgens. But yeah, I think you could do that. I think the stars are gonna be out too. Oh, they have Travis Scott who's gonna be there. So whatever your feelings are on Travis Scott, probably gonna get him in the first hour or so as well. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a fucking crazy show though, and I'm super excited for it. Super excited. Johnny almost made me choke on my gin. She said, "What up, Johnny?" You said, "Can't wait to see Ricochet versus Swerve in a toilet paper death match." Jesus. Oh my gosh. Yeah, she's the other female ref on main roster. AJ Smith? Is that her name? AJ Smith? Mm, I think. Let me see if it's who you're referring to. Is that the one that I'm thinking of? Asia Smith. Okay. So just missed the A there. Asia Smith. Love her. Love her. She was in she started off, I believe, in NXT as well as a referee. I love her. Her and Jessica Smith are very similar in the sense that I think they're really effective at their job. And they stand up, but they don't stand out, which I think is the perfect combination you need for a ref. But yeah, Asia Smith, dude. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't know who you're referring to, but yeah, for sure. I love her. Um, Johnny's coming in tonight. Not this the Scott paper toilet paper roll. I can't with you, bro. It's all a work. What up? What up? You say 100% Cena starts the show so he can solidify his first feud. Yeah, yeah, man. And again, probably not going to be Cena and Rock like I was saying, but definitely Cena. And we'll go from there. And I said yesterday on Brass Ring, I said probably starting with Cena as well, but then Gunther. I said Gunther probably will come out and interrupt Cena. Just The Rock is just like a pipe dream, right? But I think you do start with Cena, and then Gunther ends up coming out and interrupts Cena. Because I think what's probably going to happen is Cena's going to go out there and do his typical corporate shtick, like welcome to Raw, like all the buzzwords and phrases and all that good stuff, right? And then he's gonna make his mission statement for 2025. He's gonna go out there, declare officially again for the Rumble. We already know he's going to be in there, but he's going to officially say the words and get the WrestleMania season pretty much started. As crazy as that sounds. Talk a little bit more, and obviously entering the Rumble means one thing. You enter the Rumble because you want to be the champion. And once he starts talking about the Rumble, out comes Gunther. Gunther says what he's going to say, whether he respects Cena or not, which I think Gunther will respect Cena. But I think he's going to reference his 5 moves of doom, right, or something to that effect, which I think would be great. Because I just love the direction Gunther has gone in recently, or the past year, really. And I think that's going to kind of plant the seeds there for a Mania match, whether that's Cena winning the Rumble or Cena winning a chamber match or finding another way to get there. I think if they're going to want to pull a trigger on even telling the potential story of hitting number 17, they started tomorrow on Raw. And whatever that ends up looking like, how long of a journey that ends up taking, that's going to be TBD. Which I'm stoked for. I'm stoked. You say, I already know I'm gonna cry like a little bitch when Cena does his final goodbye to in-ring work at the end of the year. That's gonna be wild, dude. That's gonna be wild. I have a weird history with Cena as well. Like I loved him when we weren't supposed to, and I hated him when we were supposed to. I was one of those people. Um, but yes, Triple H is going. Yeah, you say Triple H is going to open the show and ask us if we're all ready. Yeah, yeah, you're probably right there. He's going to come out, do that. And he did reference that we could see Stephanie as well. So maybe they both come out and start the new era on Raw or on Netflix, rather. And then Cena comes out. Maybe, but Cena's going to obviously come out at some point, but we'll see. It's all a work, you say. Do you see Charlotte, Alexa, and Becky Lynch returning on Raw or on Monday rather? I do see. I hadn't even thought about Alexa, to be honest with you, but I'm almost 100% on Becky. I think Becky comes out after we see Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. I think Rhea's gonna win the championship back there, and then I think after Ripley is celebrating, then we see the return of Becky. I don't think we see Charlotte. I think we hold off on Charlotte until the Rumble, and we get the return of Charlotte there, and then Charlotte's going to be paired with Tiffany going into WrestleMania. And Alexa, I think I'm kind of 50-50 on Alexa. I think it would be cool if we have a segment with like the Wyatt Six, and I think if she's going to come back and kind of go that route. Because if not, like, what version of Alexa Bliss are we going to get? So she's a wild card for me. So I know, to me, it's what version of Alexa are we getting, and then that kind of determines when we get her back, in my opinion. Johnny, you say, who do you want to become AEW World Champion this year? Ospreay. I want Ospreay to be the face of AEW, man. I think it's. I'm not gonna say I think it's time right now, but I think 2025 is his year. John Smith, you say, I'd be shocked if Kenny doesn't become world champion. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't, unless he's going to be the savior of AEW, right? And the one, I'm going to stop with that. If he's going to be the one to dethrone Moxley, at least, I don't know. Maybe. To me, like, that's still up in the air, but I want it to be Ospreay, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was Omega, really. And Fernando, you said, I think The Rock is making a surprise appearance at the end of Raw. Yeah, and I think the placement of the tribal combat match is going to be telling in that as well, because I could see him coming out either during like a down part in the match, or at the end, like you said. And you said, Johnny, you say, who should dethrone Gunther? Man, I don't know, man, because I don't think we're even anywhere ready for anyone to dethrone Gunther right now, in my opinion. Maybe, I don't know, like, I want to see Gunther hold it for a good portion of 2025 and then see where the landscape is at then and kind of go from there. Unless they're going to do Cena, like, hitting 17 and dethroning Gunther at Mania, which would be, I don't know how I'd feel about that. I want to kind of table that. But yeah, I don't know. I want Gunther to hold on to it for a little bit longer. I actually figure you say, how long have you been watching wrestling for? So I don't want to age myself, but I've been watching it since 2000. But to be fair, like, I grew up on WWE, WWE, WWF. I knew WCW existed, obviously. But I didn't have the ability to like even flip back and forth or I knew other wrestling companies existed, but I didn't have internet for the longest time until like my early 20s. So like whatever year that was, like 2012s, 2014s. And then even when I got internet, it was dial up. So I didn't have access to it for a while. But I knew of it, like I like read from like magazines and stuff, but it was just kind of like, oh, okay, like but to me, like for the longest time, like I was in that bubble. I was in that WWE bubble for sure. Um, so yeah, that's kind of like a nutshell. I'll have to dig into that on a different show for sure. Maybe in like we'll do like a questionnaire type show. What do they call them? Those ask me anything type things. um, Judgment Day. Oh Jesus, Judgment Day. John Cena versus JBL. I Quit match was fucking brutal. You want to talk about bloodshed? That shit was just ridiculous. But kind of moving on a little bit, I want to talk about World's End. Um, I'm happy that we finally got closure for MJF and Adam Cole. I am not happy that the Undisputed Kingdom is still a thing and that they are now a group of five. I want Adam Cole to just be on his own and to be his own man and to have his own mission statement and make it believable and have him on his journey to retribution for himself. I do like that we got MJF's kind of sit down backstage after the his match at World's End when he was obviously he just the match had just ended and he was pretty much saying that he's done with Adam Cole and that chapter of 2024 is done in his career and he wants the Triple B back. He wants his title back. He doesn't care who the champion is. He doesn't care if AEW burns to the ground. He just wants his title back. Which to me, that line was kind of weird because, like, if there's no company, then like you're a champion of what? Like, not saying like you should be like a corporate guy, but like you should at least care about the company. I don't know. That's just always been like a weird thing to me. Like as a bad guy, like I'm not saying again like you should be I love AEW and have the bumper sticker on your car type shit. I mean, but you do have a tattoo apparently. But yeah, like I don't know. I don't know. It's just always kind of been weird to me because it's like then why do you want to be the champion of that company? Then like why would you want to represent something that you don't care about? It's just always been like a weird thing to me. But again, I just think too much into shit. What's up, Mackenzie Johnson? What up? What up? You say Becky might come out as a heel character, a different gimmick, not as the main character. If that happened, I'm looking forward to it. Okay, you said you are looking forward to it, or you're not looking forward to it? I think we're just gonna get kind of like a hybrid. I don't see her coming out as a heel because I don't think people are gonna want to boo her, especially on her return. I think we're gonna get like a kind of like a little bit of a newer version or like a hybrid version of like the man and like whatever the new personality of Becky Lynch is because I feel like she's probably like I feel like she's grown a lot too. Like as weird as that sounds, like outside of wrestling. So like I don't see her necessarily coming back in with a man shirt, or maybe she will. Like the man is here in Los Angeles or something like that. I don't know, but I don't think that's gonna be the direction of her character long term. If that makes sense. Like I think she'll come back and be the Becky that we know, and then kind of get going like starting next week with a full direction. If she doesn't come out directly after Rhea Ripley, but if not, then I don't know how she would come out or return. But yeah, but that's why it's gonna be fun to watch. It's definitely gonna be a fun night to watch. Um, yeah, Fernando says it's going to be a toss up between Osprey and Omega taking down Moxley. Definitely is. But in regards to World's End too, and it's crazy, like MJF is never one of those things kind of just following up on MJF. He's never one of the names thrown out there to take down Moxley or anything like that. He's just it's I don't want to say he's forgotten of, but he's just not included, which is very telling to me. It's very telling that he's just not really that big of a factor into the main event picture. And again, not saying he can't be, but it's in conversation purposes. You know what I mean? Like it's not like when we're sitting here speculating who's going to dethrone Mox. In any chats in any shows that I've seen, it's never it's going to be MJF. It's just your typicals. Like at this point, your Ospreys, your Omegas, your Adam Page, your Darby Allens. I seen Orange Cassidy's, but never an MJF. So that's interesting. Um, yes, John. Kyle Fletcher has made incredible progress last year. I'm hoping he could be world champion in the coming years. Yes, dude. I don't see him being champion in 25, maybe 26, but it just depends on the landscape, dude. But I was really, really disappointed that he didn't win the Continental Classic and the championship, because I think he would have done wonders for that. And that tournament was his, man. I think they really, really missed out on an opportunity with that one. Yeah, Fernando, most of us grew up on WWE. Yeah. 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 Was WCW still in business when you started watching wrestling? So there is one point when I was like, I don't remember how old I was, but let me put that back out there. I was super young, but I had gone to my aunt's house in New Jersey, who had like this great cable package. And we were able to flip back and forth. And that was the first time that I had ever seen WCW, and I don't remember anything about it, but I just remember just the aspect, because my friends up there loved wrestling as well. So they like were like, "Oh, it's on this channel," so they helped me flip over. But again, like I just remember being excited because like, oh wow, there's two wrestling shows, that are actually on TV at the same time. But it wasn't much longer after that. Like I really like probably like 2001 was when I was like really like starting to remember shit. But like late 99, early 2000 was when I just remember like the feeling of like, man, I really like this show. Like I really like this. Like I have to watch it. And like, but I wasn't really like retaining much. But like 2000, I would say like the end part of 2000, early part of 2001 is when things really started clicking. I think I was like 9 at that point. So I don't know what this says about me developmentally, but I really like it really started clicking, and like my love really started growing. Like before it was like, man, like I really like the show. Like I really like it's like appointment TV, but then that's when like my love kind of started like developing for it. That I can remember, at least like 2001 was like prime. I remember the match with Kurt Angle and The Rock at No Mercy. I'm pretty certain it was that Sunday Night Heat. I don't know if it worked on any other fan besides me, but I remember watching Sunday Night Heat and seeing the preview for the pay-per-view, and I was just like, I just remember feeling like I can't miss this. Like I gotta watch this, and just like asking my grandma, like, do you think like it's a possibility that we could like maybe turn this on? And then once she realized you had to order it, and it was like whatever it was, like 40, $50, she ended up getting it for me. So shout out to her. But yeah, it worked on me. So when they say those pre-shows don't work, it worked on a young Ashley. Um, but yes, do I have cable today? No, I have Sling today. I have Sling. I ain't paying 100 plus for that shit. My first live wrestling show was a random SmackDown. I don't remember the exact show, but I actually had the ticket stub. I found it when I was going through some stuff. So I went because I was super young. I was probably like that was before it was like in the 90s. So I think it was like 98, 99. I have to go back and check the stub. Um, but yeah, I have some stuff I have to go through. I'm pulling out some wrestling stuff within the next week or so to like change some setups. But yeah. Um, and yes, Juggernaut, yes. What up, what up? I did watch Wrestle Kingdom. I talked a little bit about that towards the beginning of the show. Actually, a lot about that towards the beginning of the show. But yeah, man, I did. It was great. I really enjoyed it. Oh, I'm sorry. No, Wrestle Kingdom. No, I'm completely sorry. I conflated the two. We're talking about Wrestle Dynasty. I did not watch Wrestle Kingdom. I did not watch Wrestle Kingdom. I just work and other stuff. I did not. I was not able to. But I am gonna go back and watch that. Because that was a stellar card too. So I want to go back and watch that. But back to just a couple things on Dynasty on Dynamite, Dynasty Dynamite. And two though, really quick, like shame on AEW for not promoting it better and not promoting it more, because they finally got around to sending out some tweets on it. Like I think Saturday, I think it was Friday going into Saturday, but like when they were promoting Collision, they're like right after Collision, tune into Wrestle Dynasty, and it's like, come on. Um, yeah, I was just like really, really disappointed in them by that. Like, shame on them, especially when your top guy is going to be there. So come on. But well, I guess not in their eyes, their top guy being Omega, but it was just I don't know. But it's gonna be interesting too to see Omega's follow up this coming week on Dynamite to see what he says, and if he goes, like, if he picks right up with Okada, like what he addresses. Like I hope we get a real, like that 10-minute segment we got from Jeff Jarrett for whatever fucking reason. I hope we get that from Omega. I hope we get a Wikipedia type promo from Kenny Omega. I want to learn. I want to know the beginning, middle, and what he plans on doing until the end. Just like we got from Jeff Jarrett. I hope we get that from Omega. Like, and if we don't, then that's a shame. I don't want anyone to interrupt him. Like I don't want anything. I don't want any of that. I don't want it to be Jack Perry, Okada, no video segment, no nothing. I'm not saying like I need Omega to tell us how close he was to death or anything like that with his diverticulitis, but I want to be emotionally connected to him, you know? Like I want to hear his journey, and I want to know why this means so much to him, and why it's clear that we can see he loves New Japan so much, but that he's here in AEW when he could clearly be in New Japan, or clearly be wherever he wants to be and doing whatever he wants to do, but he chooses to be in AEW. And now I want to hear why, you know? So I really hope we get that on Dynamite coming up this week. And if not, then that's not even a swing and a miss. That's just a miss in my book, especially since they're promoting Omega being there. Like, come on. It's a miss if they don't. So but just really quick on the fallout from World's End. I keep want to say Dynasty, from World's End. In the intro music, the Pointer Sisters, yeah, it's jarring because the music. It's one of those situations where like the music doesn't fit the package, and it's just very jarring because of that. Like it doesn't line up, and it's like one of like almost like those distorted things that like fans, like you'll see like a fan created video on Twitter, and it's not, it's official. Again, like I give Tony Khan credit and props for opening the checkbook and spending that money, but that ain't it for me. That ain't it for me, dog. You know what I mean? So I hope he hits shuffle and changes that, and it goes to the next like hard rock or alternative or something. And again, not even saying like you have to love that type of music, but it's wrestling, bro. Like that type of music fits an entrance, so or an intro for your show. So, and again, to be fair, like WWE SmackDown has what, like Megan Thee Stallion or something. So it doesn't have to be, but like, bro, like it's Dynamite. Like I don't know, like to me, like the vibe should, and for AEW should be kind of like a Nitro, like a hard hitting. I don't know, man. I don't know. And not even like a Nitro, but like the old Raw theme. Like I think Dynamite should have something like that, like piggyback off of that. You know, like make a variation of it. But I don't know. It took me out of it. It just was like, okay, like we're all right, like we're excited, yeah. Like you really chose that one. Cool. Like who gave you the aux cord, bro? Like no. Thank you. Thank you, but no thank you. Can we return it and maybe just exchange, not even return, like just exchange. Just exchange it for a different intro. But maybe it's, and again, maybe it's the first dynamite of the new year. Maybe that's it. But that shit wasn't it for me, man. Um but I do think though we something's got to give with this Moxley thing, because it's just, and it really quick too. Like I don't know why this just popped into my head, but like Christopher Daniels, I thought he wasn't an acting EVP anymore, but he's still involved. So I don't know, just little things like that. Like I don't know, it's not a big deal, but it just stood out to me. But I don't understand where we're going still, and it's just it's frustrating because I like Moxley gets me hooked, and when I listen to Moxley, I'm like, okay, yeah, like let's fucking go, dude. And then I'm like, oh man, I'm not supposed to like Moxley. And then I'm like, as I think more into it, I'm like, okay, so like, why are like, what are we like really upset with him about? Like, in like verbally at least, like, okay, like what he says, like makes sense, you know, like I don't know, like he kind of like sinks you in, like okay, cool, and then you see him try to suffocate people. Of course, I know that's months ago now, but like you just, his actions are different than his words, and it's just very confusing. But I'm hoping, and I'm going to, and on a positive note, and I'm going to hope that Omega coming back is going to align in kind of read a lot of different stories, and kind of he's going to be the center of the Elite, the Okada saving AEW, dethroning Moxley. He's going to be the one to kind of tie it all together. Whether it's going to be him or Osprey or not, I think he's going to be the one to kind of like synchronize some things. And then if it does end up being Osprey, Osprey can take out Omega. I don't know, but then it does get kind of convoluted because Osprey's a good guy, right? But if they do like a tournament or something, or if it's like a match to determine who faces Moxley, maybe Osprey is the one who takes out Omega and then ends up dethroning Moxley. I don't know. It's just and again, it's kind of hard to even speculate because we really don't know what type of direction we're going, and and we just got a 4-way for the title too. So it's like it's just all over the place, and it just kind of makes it frustrating. And like speaking of the Hurt Syndicate, yeah, I was just about to say. You said it kind of for me, Fernando. The Hurt Syndicate has a more clear direction than the Death Riders. They do, and they're cooler too, in my opinion. Like they just have a cooler. I'm not gonna say. Okay, I take that back. They don't have a cooler vibe than the Death Riders, but I'm more invested in the Hurt Syndicate because, like you said, they have a more clear direction, and I know what they're all about. They're there to make money, to kick ass, and to look the part. The Death Riders, they're there to save John Moxley, to make sure he's the champion, and at one point to kill AEW. But we still don't really know why. At least with the Hurt Business, you want to hurt people because you want to make money, and you want to hurt people because you probably don't like them, and that leads to you making money. Got it. That's all I need, man. That's all I fucking need. I don't need a whole diatribe or nothing. Like I don't need a whole book. Just give me an intro, man. Just give me a prelogue, just something. It's just crazy to me. Yeah. Muhammad, what's up, Muhammad? You said didn't Mohammed Belhassin. I probably butchered that. Sorry. But what's up, dude? Thanks for popping in. You said didn't Christopher Daniels have harsh words with Hangman Page last night on Collision? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And he shouldn't be the EVP anymore, as of what he said on World's End, because that was the whole crush to get Omega to come out. He's not the EVP anymore, but this guy is. So. And again, man, it's not even something that's that big of a deal, but it's like you just mentioned it on the pay-per-view. Like, I don't know. Johnny said Daniels should dethrone Moxley. Stop it. Brandon Simmons. What's up, Brandon? Welcome. You said you hate the briefcase. Me fucking too, dude. I hate how thin it is because it makes, if the title is truly in there, it makes it look small as fuck. Like I hate the presentation of it. I hate it. I hate it so much, man. Thank you for mentioning that because I fucking hate it too. I hate the idea and the symbolism of it, that he just threw the champion. First he threw it in a bag, and then now the championship is just in a briefcase that he's just like carrying around, and we're not going to see it anymore. Like, and again, why? Like, it kind of ties into what I was just saying about MJF. If you hate this company so much and you want to kill it, right? And you don't even want the title, the representation of the company to be on display, then why do you want to be the champion? Like, that's what's confusing to me. Like, that's what I've never understood, and like I don't like, to be honest with you, because if you're the champion of something, and again, not saying you need to be the corporate guy, the corporate rah guy, John Cena, oh, like I'm doing like all these like media interviews and all that, and like, running around there with the bumper sticker, like I said, type shit. But like, why be the champion of a company that you don't like? And again, I guess it could be kind of like in devil's advocate, like it could be like the CM Punk type of vibe where it's like you can't make changes sitting at home on your couch. But if you're the champion, like I should still know specifically what you hate about the company, why you took reins of it, why you took over it, and what you're trying to do, because I still clearly don't see what he's trying to do. And it's not a knock. Like, I'm not saying you're trying to like hate on the guy or like personally, but it's like as a fan of like tuning in, like if I'm trying to explain it. And at the pay-per-view, I was at World's End. At the pay-per-view, the people sitting in front of me, there was a diehard fan, a casual fan, and another like kind of like fan in between who was just there for social media videos. But the dude in the middle, he was asking the diehard fan, some questions, and he specifically asked, he was like, oh, okay, like in the main event, he was like, oh, okay, so the champion is the bad guy, and dude on the left, he was like, yeah. He was like, he's trying to take over the company, and like the dude was like, oh, why? And the dude, the diehard fan, literally said, he was like, man, I don't know. He was like, I don't know, man. We're all over the place. And that's from people who are at your pay-per-view, bro. Like, that's not people bullshitting on Twitter. So just tidy it up. Just tidy it up, you know? Like it's not a lost cause, but it's just frustrating and it doesn't need to be. But one last thing before we ride off into the sunset. It's Tiffy time. I am so happy Tiffany finally cashed in the briefcase. Speaking of briefcases, what a great segue. I'm just so happy she finally won the briefcase, y'all. Won the championship and cashed in the briefcase. If you listened to me yesterday on Brass Ring Media on YouTube, again, shout out to Brass Ring Media, what we do over there, and the partnership with One True Sport. I go live over there every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. But I love the presentation. I love the match that Nia Jax had with Naomi first, so shout out to them. They put in great work. I loved how Tiffany really just pulled the wool over everyone. She came out. At first, you thought that she was going to interject right in the match. She didn't. She allowed Nia to pick up the victory still and helped her, essentially, right with the distraction. Bianca ended up helping as well, but skipping ahead. And I love too, like Tiffany threw the referee that she came out with over the barricade for the timekeeper area, went in there, celebrated with Nia. Nia, encouraged Nia to go to the turnbuckle to hit the bomb on I think it was Naomi still in there. And Tiffany hit her in the back with a briefcase, went back out there to get the same referee that she just knocked down over the barricade. Again, most forgiving referee out there. He should probably be the MVP for the rest. Agreed to just I'm good, and which again is miracle recovery time for a referee. Went in there and Bianca had at that point hit the KOD on I'm gonna say Naomi on Nia Jax from the turnbuckle, which is just a thing of beauty, and fucking shout out to Bianca. At that point, Tiffany was able to throw Bianca over the announce table, get her out of the way. Candice LeRae, was also in there, a couple steps back when they were celebrating with Nia. Saw obviously Tiffany hit Nia in the back with a briefcase. She's like, "What the fuck? What are you doing?" Tiffany throws Candice LeRae into the the ringside post. So eliminates Candice, eliminates Bianca. Match officially starts. She hits the prettiest moonsault ever and picks up the 1-2-3, which was just beautifully told. Of course, the plates went crazy. She celebrated. I wish they would have held on a little bit longer though. The camera shot after for the celebration, when she went out there and stood up on the announcer's table. I wish they would have held on to that a little bit longer because it was just a cool moment, man. And it's something that we had been built up to. She had been teasing it for I don't even know how long at this point. And I just like how they pulled the trigger finally and how she did it. And it really made her outsmart everyone. It was a nice change for the babyface, right? The good guy outsmarting everyone, bad guys and other good guys included. So I really like the presentation for that. And like I said earlier, with Charlotte most likely returning at the Rumble is my prediction. I think that sets up the Mania match, and it's going to be Tiffany Stratton facing off against Charlotte Flair for the Women's Championship on the SmackDown side of things for Mania. And then whether we end up getting Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, or I'm going to throw out a wild card. Maybe, and I don't see this happening, but if you really want to skyrocket someone, I think you could really just fucking go balls out and really do something fun. Have debuting Jordan Grace in the Women's Rumble. Obviously, come in, just make a dominant performance and presentation in the Rumble, win the Rumble, and then have at WrestleMania 41, Rhea Ripley facing off against Jordan Grace for the championship. Not saying that Jordan has to beat Ripley or even that I probably would advocate for that, but man, just think of the star that you would build in Jordan Grace. Not saying that you're not going to build it over time already, but you just talk about skyrocketing. Like, man, like that'd be fun. And talk about two powerhouses just beating the fuck out of each other and just really going at it. I think that would be fun, man. And I think that could. I mean, I'm sitting here getting crazy, right? But you could even potentially main event one of the WrestleMania nights with that, depending on the layout and everything. I know we're getting crazy, and some of you are probably like, "What, Jordan Grace?" But I think you could, man. I think you really could if you position her right and just just lay out the right foundation and have it come down to her and Becky in the women's rumble, right? And everyone's gonna think that's gonna be Becky, and she eliminates Becky. Yo, I think you could really be onto something there. So that's what I'm gonna put out there. That's my wild card pick for the Rumble, kind of early in advance. But I just think that you could really, because Becky doesn't need another Rumble win, right? And really neither does Charlotte. But I kind of think they may go the Charlotte route. But we'll see. I'm gonna put more thought into the Rumble as we get a little bit closer because we still have some time. It's a little less than a month away, with it being on February 1st. And I think tomorrow night's Raw is really gonna open our eyes to the beginning, like seeds for where we're going to WrestleMania. So another reason to be excited for Raw tomorrow night. But we will be signing off here in the next few moments, guys. Going back through here really quick. Yes, TIFFY has been getting huge pops in exactly since Elimination Chamber last year. I said that in the show yesterday, bro. Yes, exactly. Elimination Chamber really, like, I was impressed with her before, but bro, she really showed out at that chamber time. Yeah, Nick. What up, Nick? What up? What up? She did deserve it, bro. She did deserve it. Maria, you said Tiffany Stratton should hold the championship for a long time. If Charlotte does face her at WrestleMania, Tiffany should totally win. 100%. 100%. Now, if you want to be fucking even crazier, you could have Tiffany win and then Jordan win, which would be insane. But I'm not advocating for that because I think you still need to focus on Ripley a little bit longer. But you could definitely have a Mania where Tiffany retains and Rhea retains. Da, da, da. You also say it should be Rhea versus Bianca at WrestleMania. A lot of us have been waiting for that match. Yeah, but I just don't think the cards are aligning for that for this year. I think that's maybe Mania 2, or depending what we look like going into after Mania season this year. But I think we're gonna lean more towards maybe like Bianca and Jade this year, if anything. Yeah, Jermaine, what up, Jermaine? You said I could see Jordan Grace coming in and beating Chelsea Green for the U.S. title. Okay, yeah. So if she doesn't win the Rumble, going and going on SmackDown and facing off with Green, yeah, that'd be fun and a nice tie into their TNA history too. Stamps, you said The Rock will show up to take the main event spot again. Yeah, man, don't even get me started on that. It's all the work, he said. Man, having Grace in the main event of Mania would take a lot of growing on WWE's part, but it's slowly been happening. It has, man. And again, this year, it may be, like I was saying, too much of a pipe dream on my side. Do I see her main eventing one of the, like maybe a night one within the next few years? I do. So I think she's that type of talent, especially with the progression that they've made with the women and the women main eventing. If they deserve it, right? If the stories line up for it and it makes sense, then yeah. Because I'm not one of those people that like, oh, like, since you have two nights, one of the women's matches has to be in the main event just because, like, no, like, if it makes sense, then absolutely. But if it doesn't make sense, then no, like, position it properly on the card and give it its fair due. But no, like, placement is key, especially on Mania. So yeah, it would take a lot, but I think that you could really have an opportunity there. And like, you can even just not even like main eventing, but like pull the trigger on her winning the Rumble and go from there. And seeing if you pull the trigger and you kind of put the machine behind her a little bit, just have her momentum build to Rumble, and then build to Mania, and then by the time it gets to Mania, if like within the weeks or maybe the month or like less than a month prior that you're at Mania, you can see, okay, like, does the hype for these two women elevate them to the main event spot on night one? No, then okay, then they stay maybe opening the show, right? Because that's another, like, one of the coveted spots, especially on Mania. If you're not closing, you want to open. But just make sure you do it properly, and you give it its proper placement is my thing. You say Johnny Rhea versus Alexa at WrestleMania? Maybe. And again, it just, to me, it all depends on the version of Alexa Bliss that we get. Jermaine, you said, I like your idea, but instead of using Jordan, Grace, use Roxanne Perez. Okay, so have Roxanne come in and debut, well, officially, like, well, not debut on the Rumble because she's showed up before, but maybe transition over to the main roster, have her dominate in the Rumble, and then go on to face Ripley. I guess I don't know if I see that this year. But I think it is winding down for Roxanne and NXT, just with the influx with Becker, Delta, Julia that they've gotten, and that they're going to continue with Jordan Grace. And that's the thing too. Like, we don't know if Jordan Grace is going to go to NXT and kind of dominate NXT first, or if she's going to go straight to the main roster. That was just me kind of assuming she's going to hit the ground running in the main roster. So we'll see. We'll see. But Rewind, yeah, he said, cool, thanks for the show. Have a great week. Yes, everyone have a great week and enjoy Raw. D-Rocks or D-Rock 812,000. What up, what up? Thank you. Thank you for popping in. And Fernando, looks like you're running it out. I hope Jade confronts Naomi soon about the attack. Yeah, man, Naomi got some splaining to do, bro. She got some splaining to do. So we'll see. We will see. Johnny, you say you should create your dream WrestleMania card in a video. Huh. That's interesting. I'll write that down too. Dream WrestleMania card. Now, what would the time frame be of like all time, current year? What would the time frame be? That is the question. WrestleMania card. That is a great idea, though, man. A great idea. But Nick, Raw is going to be awesome for sure, man. For sure. And Maria, wrapping it up, Jordan Grace's main roster already now. I 100% agree. The only thing I will say, because even your age, and this always stands out to me, your AJ Styles of the world, right? Even he said that he would have appreciated and enjoyed some time in the NXT realm, because it would have got him better equated with the WWE system. So I've always been an advocate and someone who says, yes, like, does Jordan Grace need to learn how to wrestle? Fuck no. She can go straight to the main roster tomorrow. It'd be perfectly fine. But, and this is obviously coming from an outsider, the production and the presentation and the business side of WWE is what I think new, like, wrestlers coming in from the outside of their world need to learn. And I think that the main roster, not even think, I know the main roster can be overwhelming, right? So I think that's why a lot of people take advantage of the NXT route, and especially the younger wrestlers, right? But even your AJ Styles, man, like, he said he would have really benefited from going into NXT. So we'll see. And Johnny, okay, you said, are you hyped for Penta tomorrow? Fuck yeah, dude. I am stoked for Penta. I'm just sad we're not getting Ray Phoenix along with him, man. But I think this gives Penta a good opportunity to come in and kind of showcase himself as a singles wrestler, really like shine light on his style. And I know they can't really talk about Ray Phoenix right now, but they can kind of talk around it, you know what I mean? And then by the time we get Penta built up, hopefully they do it right? It'll be time for Phoenix to come through. But I think you have a real opportunity to kind of take like a blessing out of the curse on Ray, on Ray Phoenix, and make Penta a star and really elevate him. And not saying he's gonna be like the next main event or anything like that, but just really showcase like what type of badass he is. And I like the little teasers that they've been doing, not officially for him, right? But if you know, you know, right? But I think the key with him is too, is he gonna be a good guy or a bad guy? And I think you almost, like, I could see him coming in and interacting with Ray, right? Ray needing a partner, him being that mystery partner or whatever, or it was like being the saving grace for Ray Mysterio, and then turning on Ray Mysterio and then going from there. But I don't know. It just depends on where they see him and where they want to place him at. But I think it's a good sign they're giving him hype videos. But I just think that you could really, I don't know if you want to go straight to like a Penta and Ray match, Ray Mysterio match, but to me, I think it really is like, okay, is he gonna be a good guy? Then he's gonna go after your Dominic Mysterios in that route. But if not, then I'd make a real case for Rey Mysterio and Penta, and try to hold off until Mania, because I think if you build that up and you tell the stories of like the Lucha story and like maybe the respect that Penta has, that I think Ray Phoenix was more of a Mysterio fan than maybe Penta has really brought to light. But man, I think there's so much potential there. But okay, Johnny, all time in this year. We'll do, man. We'll do. But yeah, Nick, that's what I was, just kind of pondering on too, man. But it's gonna be fun to see. Yeah, if only La Parker was able to join the roster. Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, we don't have time for all that. It's all at work. You say they're going to put him with Ray in a tag team because of their fights in Lucha. Yeah, in Lucha Underground. Yeah. Speaking of companies that deserve more love, man. Lucha Underground for sure. But all right, guys, we will be wrapping up here. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate it. I'm gonna try to do one as soon as possible after tomorrow night's Raw. Definitely not right after because YouTube is gonna be flooded with everyone and their mother doing their post Raw shows. Probably literally. Which is cool. Props to them. But I'll pop on at some point. I'll try to figure it out sometime and maybe post it out there, or me just go live and hopefully you guys can pop in. But I'm definitely for this year going to get a schedule down and more structure for at least whether it's like a Sunday evening type show, just something that we know we can tune into, like I do over at Brass Ring Media. So as always, thank you guys so much for popping in here, though. I truly appreciate it. If you haven't liked already, feel free to like or dislike the video, whatever suits your fancy. But thank you guys for dropping the comments during the live stream. And if you're watching our replay, definitely drop in your 2 cents. Educate me on New Japan. Tell me I'm an idiot, whatever suits your fancy there as well. But yeah, I appreciate you popping in. And until next time, though, I will be live over at Brass Ring Media on 10 a.m. But until next time here at Kick Ass Podcast, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it again. And enjoy some wrestling, guys. Stay safe out there and have a good week.